Good afternoon, all, and welcome to the Nepean Sportsplex for a Sunday tilt between the hometown Nepean Raiders and the visiting Cornwall Colts. The Raiders are looking up in the standings of the Iserman Division, trying to chase the Colts for a playoff spot. Right, so Colton Rayom, he will get the start in goal for the Cornwall Colts, looking for his 8th win of the season. And he has got out to a solid start for the Colts. And at the other end, Cutstay Brandt, he gets a rare start for the Raiders, hoping to turn around their fortunes. Yeah, and by the way, Cutstay Brandt is happening to be Nepean's temporary #1 goalie with Jack Detritus out, and it is considered as day-to-day. Referees are Chad White and Zach Moyton. And the linesmen are Jared Herbson and Daniel Visker. They're at the lines. So we are underway right now. The Cornwall Colts are decked out in their white sweaters. The Nepean Raiders are decked out in red. So Cantrell is out behind the net, barely avoiding that big hit. That one remains in Nepean territory. Also over to Bath. For the Raiders, he'll dump this one into Cornwall territory, and Rayom wraps this one back over to Brandon Rockwell. Goes over to Derek Rhodes. That one's, so he got some fresh legs out for the Raiders. And that we had a play stoppage with 52 seconds into this opening period. And my name is Romano DeFranco. We are so happy you all can join in on the ride. And here's that replay that just happened. Colton Rayom with a blocker save on... it was number 26 for the Raiders. Got a piece of it with this blocker and just enough for it going in. And just as when I was about to explain what happened on the replay, the Raiders have scored first. Okay, so Nick Larkin gets the goal. It's his 6th tally of the season, and it is 1-0 Nepean Raiders. Yes, with 57 seconds in to this first period. Yeah, I do not know how Colton Rayom misses that one. And then the puck takes an awkward angle and it squirts into the net. That's something that Colton Rayom, he certainly should have had. Right, so 1-0 is your score for the Raiders. Hey, just on the first shot. Allow it. This one goes over to Cantrell. He'll dump this one into Cornwall territory. This one goes over to Timothy Walker. So Alex Brown for the Colts. Back over to Warner. Warner shoots. Stopped by Cutstay Brandt. Yeah, he's a native of Belleville, Ontario. Warner shoots. That one is stopped by Brandt. So yep, 2 great saves by Cutstay Brandt in this early half of the first period. And he'll hang on for the whistle with 2 minutes in. 2 minutes into this opening period, Brandt has been great, including that replay when he made that save off of Timothy Walker. Yep. Allow it. Not sure what we had in the Cornwall zone, but nonetheless, Raiders will win the face-off. And Mason St. Onge just hold. Oh, so not sure what that was. That one is, I think Rayom may have gotten a piece of that one. St. Onge, he'll clear this one into Cornwall territory, and that's icing. Right, so 1-0 is your score for the Raiders, and that came on the strength of Nick Larkin's sixth goal of the season. They'll have a face-off into Cat State Brance's right. Just wait for Jack Yates to get his equipment all sorted. Not all is settled. This one, and Cornwall just gets hammered in by Houston Johnson. And just Joe Vita just barely avoiding that offside. Cornwall drops this back to St. Ange. Missing that one was Benoit, and could have a stoppage with 17-13 left to go in this opening period. It is 1-0 Nepean. Yep, they're off to a great start. So Nepean comes into this game now having scored 65 goals. Now, that's the third best in the entire CCHL, behind the Smiths Falls Bears and the Rockland Nationals, who had just suffered their first defeat of the season, unfortunately. That came at the hands of the Junior Senators. Viscu makes some moves. Bertrand just barely missing that net. Shout out to Daniel Viscu. He just turned 20 following a game against the Brockville Braves. Shoots. The puck battle continues in front of the Cornwall net. Viscu. This one. Oh, and just barely avoiding that hit. Spencer Thompson will clear this one to Cornwall territory, as the Raiders will have some fresh legs out on the ice. Thompson he's being watched by Derek Rhodes. Back to Thompson for the Raiders. This one goes over to Larkin, who got the opening goal of the game for the Raiders. And this one goes over to Barbeau now for the Raiders. Barbeau over to Noah, back with the shot on. What a save made by Colton Leome. Man, just would have been 2-0 Raiders. Okay then. Wow, I could tell from the way everything's going on in that opening period. This is going to be a wild ride for the finish. A wild ride from start to end. How about that save made by Noah Bath? A great chance by Noah Bath, and Rayom says no, sir. Yep. Right. Larkin shoots. That one gets fanned on. That one did not reach the goalie. Rockwell. And this one goes over to Tyler Smith. He's the Navan, Ontario native. Larkin over to Liam Wallace. That's the native of Montreal, Quebec. Smith goes over to Rowan Cantrell. Or make that Ryan English, and there is going to be a penalty, and that is boarding. Yeah, it's going to go to the Cornwall Colts, so this will allow the Nepean Raiders to go on the power play, which is second place in the entire CCHL standings. That is behind only the Rockland Nationals. Let's take a look. Oh, yes. So going to the penalty box is Caleb Gauthier. Yeah, Gauthier is the victim of that penalty. Smith. Back to Larkin. Larkin again shoots. That one goes over top of the net. English. Over to Larkin. Shoots! That one deflected just wide. And Leome hangs on, and he'll make the save. Yes. That's some great pressure from the Raiders on their power play. They're hoping to make that 2-0. Only time will tell. Yates will take the face-off. Goes over to Smith. Larkin. All right, Larkin, he'll re-wait in. This one goes over to Warner, and that threat comes to an end. And behind the net, Nick Larkin goes just barely avoiding that hit from Warner. Tyler Smith. Smith again for the Raiders. Shoots. That one is stopped by Rayon. Rebound. Once again, got some pressure from the Raiders on that power play. Yates with the shot. That one is stopped by Colton Rayon. Larkin. Smith back to Larkin. Missing that pass was Tyler Smith. He wasn't ready for that. Benoit. And that puck battle continues, and that one scores free with 30 seconds left to go into the penalty to Caleb Gauthier. Raiders are out shooting the Cornwall Colts 6-1. Williamson. Over to Thompson. Back to Williamson with the shot, and that one is stopped by Colton Rayon. That will just about do it to the penalty to Caleb Gauthier. Right, and the Raiders are 0 for 1 with the man advantage as the penalty expires. Over to Spencer Thompson. He'll just thankfully though make that recovery effort. Thompson waits in. This one, he'll just go, drops this one over to William Cotton. That's one of the defensemen for the Cornwall Colts. The Nepean Raiders have played the Cornwall Colts twice, with the most recent taking place on October 30th, and that one it ended in a 7-4 loss. Well, Lucas LeBlanc, he scored twice in that game, which he's one of the Raiders players that's been on a hot streak. This one drops over to Wilson Dowse. Anthony Bertrand now for the Raiders, as the Nepean Raiders will get some fresh legs out. Goes over to Caleb Gauthier, who was victimized by a boarding minor. And this one goes over to Nepean territory as the Colts will go out and get some fresh legs out. Bertrand to Viscu. Viscu, as he closes in. Bertrand with the shot. That one is stopped by Colton Rayon. Vida now for the Cornwall Colts, as the Colts are forced to get back. Casey Novosad grabs this back to Joe Vida. Vida. That one will stay in. We all thought that was going to go out of play, but no, sir. Grant goes over to Liam Wallace. To Benoit, back to Wallace, and he goes tumbling into the ice, and he'll get back up. And this one goes over to Racine for the Cornwall Colts. Fraser McDonald now for the Cornwall Colts. And I'm surprised to hear that it has now been 8 minutes and Cornwall hasn't even got a shot on net in that since the early part of that first period. I guess Nepean is more focused on putting on the pressure on these Cornwall Colts. Knoble waits in. He's being watched by Houston Johnson. Or make that Lyndon Lamb. Nicholas Larkin for the Raiders. Yates. Over to Adam Walker now for the Colts. Walker. Missing that pass was Lyndon Lamb. He wasn't ready for that. Thompson. Thompson want to move. That one is stopped by Colton Rayon, and he will hang on with 9:49 left to go in that first period. Wow, the Raiders are out shooting the Cornwall Colts 8-1. That is impressive. And remember, when Nepean, first, how about that great opportunity by Spencer Thompson, only for Rayon to shut the door. Yep, and remember, when Nepean outshoots their opponents, that's something that's not totally new for starters, they outshot the Pembroke Lumber Kings 67-33 in that game on Wednesday. Yes, that is a season high in shots on net for the Raiders, only to fall just a teensy bit short. This one goes over to Noah Bath. Drops this to Cantrell. Back to Spencer Thompson with the shot. That one is blocked by Leon in net. 9:13 left to go in this first period. Raiders have a lead to enjoy, 1-0. They've passed some tests in this first period, which is a good sign. Shoots. That one hit the goal post. And doing that was Lucas LeBlanc. That just would have been his third of the year against the Cornwall Colts. Yeah, he's pretty sure he would like to have another crack at it, you know. Brandon Rockwell for the Colts. Rockwell shoots. Blocker save was made by Katste Brandt. This is the Cornwall Colts' first shot on goal since the 18-minute mark of that first period. But still trailing by 1-0. Okay, so let's see what happened on that replay. Lucas LeBlanc with a great opportunity, and that just would have hit the goal post, and that denied him his third of the year against the Cornwall Colts. And like I said, he scored twice in October 30th in Cornwall. Okay, Douse over to Brandon Rockwell. He's being watched by Liam Wallace, and big hit by Wallace. And Brandt just got a piece of that one. Wallace to Smith. This is Tyler Smith going with Carter Williamson. 3-on-2. That one, he couldn't finish that play, was Tyler Smith. 7:42 left to go in this first period. Nepean's out shooting Cornwall 9-3. They have a lead to enjoy, 1-0. And this one drops this one to. That's a turnover. Here's Konabel. He's from Krajci, Slovenia. Nick Larkin shoots. Pad save was made by Leon. And he's being held along the boards by Fraser McDonald. That one finally scores free. This one, Yates to Larkin. He'll clear that one in as the Raiders will. Their defense has some fresh legs. Yeah. Thompson routes this back to Larkin. Just couldn't finish that long lead pass, but whatever, that remains in Cornwall territory. Noble to Thompson. It's 6:25 left to go in this first period. Raiders have a 1-0 lead to enjoy. And that chance by Ryan Racine just about ended there. Okay. Out behind the net is, and that one was Jack Kent. Shoots. Save was made by Leon. And they all go whack at it. But at least that one scored free for now. Yes, that has been the story of this first period. That was the parts of the keys to the game for the Raiders, is to outshoot your opponents early and often and to protect their lead. That one is blocked by Cantrell on a shot from Lyndon Lamb. The Colts are forced to get back on this delayed offside. Benoit over to Lyndon Lamb. Viscu, who had just turned 20 following the Raiders game against the Brockville Braves. That was also in the game that Catstay Brand finished for Giacodritis. Owen Kinghan drops this back to Raphael Tallier. This one remains in behind the net for the Raiders, for the Colts, that is. Warner the shot. That one is stopped and held by Catstay Brand. All right, so he'll hang on with 4:56. And how about that chance by Knoble was eliminated from early on. And how about that great opportunity from Ryan Racine? And that his play ends on the Raiders' threat of things. Novosad. And he'll drops this one over to Lozone. And Colby Lozone is rocked and held like a baby. McDonald with the shot, and then that's a blocker save made by Auxerra Catstay Brand. And that's icing. Alright, so Raiders are out shooting the Cornwall Colts 11-5. Raiders have a lead to enjoy, 1-0. And the Raiders win that faceoff. Let's drops this to Noah Bath for the Raiders. Oh, and he's hammered into the ice by Chauncey Novosad. And he'll get back up, and he gets up like a raging bull. That one is whistled wide of the net. Bath again for the Raiders. And this one goes over to Colby Lozone, and that one goes into Nepean territory as some teams will have some fresh legs. And that is icing. 3:47 left to go in this opening frame. The Raiders have a lead to enjoy of 1-0. We have a special feature coming up in this first period intermission. As this one drops this over to Rockwell. Cotton. And this one goes over to Luke Beliveau. He's the leading scorer for the Cornwall Colts. Larkin. That one missed the net. Catstay Brand thought that one was going to go wide, and he was right. Cantrell. And as Beliveau drops this back to Derek Rhodes. Rhodes with the shot. That one gets whistled wide of the net. Beliveau back to Rockwell. This one. Williamson, and he'll miss that pass. Goes over to English now for the Raiders. Drops this one over to AJ Adrano. AJ Adrano. Okay. So AJ Adrano. Right. This one goes over to Caleb Gauthier. Goes over to Warner. Shoots! And that one is stopped by Auxerra Catstay Brand off Wilson Dowse. Okay, lots to talk about. Trying to go for that wraparound. That one was Alex Brown for the Colts. That one goes into the Nepean bench. Shots on net are still 11-5 for the Raiders. Okay. And the Raiders have passed some tests in this first period. And how about what happened on that replay? Yes, that was a really great chance by Alex Brown for the Cornwall Colts, only to have it turned aside by Auxerra Catstay Brand. 1:55 left to go in the first period. Nepean has a lead to enjoy of 1-0. Spencer Thompson for the Raiders. Over to Tellier. Or you just make that Adam Walker for the Cornwall Colts. That will get into our healthy scratches later on. Or I can just talk about this now. So, as for the healthy scratches, Derek Rhodes and Simon Lemieux are the healthy scratches for the Cornwall Colts, as does Daryl Diakite. Thompson for the Raiders. This one goes over to Tellier. Tellier whistled that one wide of the net. He scored twice against the Carleton Place Canadians 2 weeks ago. Yeah, in which the Raiders, they won that game by a score of 2-1. Not to mention, that was the last time the Raiders actually won a game. And they're off to a great start. Knoble. So last minute of play in the first period. Dernière minute de la première de période. 52 seconds left to go in the first period. Nepean has a 1-0 lead. As St. Ange drops this back to Cornwall. And that one gets knocked down. Benoit, the captain for the Nepean Raiders. Knoble. As Knoble's being watched in by Wyatt Warner. He'll just knock this one right in. Yates. Yates with the shot. He did not miss by much. Okay. And this one goes over to Kobe Lausanne. Lausanne over to McDonald, and that one whistled wide of the net. As St. Ange, the former Cornwall Colt, will protect the puck. As that stays in, as not that it matters much. All right, so the Nepean Raiders will end the first period with a comfortable 1-0 edge. Cat State Brant was terrific in that first period as he stopped 4 of the 5 shots he faced in that first period. Right, so let's talk about the goals that we got. So Nicholas Larkin, it's his 6th goal of the campaign, right? That one came 57 seconds into the opening frame. Ryan English and Carter Williamson, they each scored the goals for the Raiders. Yep, that is our scoring summary. So, like I said before, Nick Larkin with his 6th goal of the season, assisted by Ryan English and Carter Williamson. That was his 6th goal of the season, and that came 57 seconds into this first period. Funny enough, that's the only goal that we had to report in this first period. Yes, and the Nepean Raiders. Right, so the Nepean Raiders are off to a terrific start in this first period, or should I say of this game, right? So yeah, the Nepean Raiders have outshot the Cornwall Colts 11-5. Yes, and it's all about pouring the pressure on the opposing team. And yes, they actually did that. Yeah, and they did just that. Here's that goal. We'll show that to you one more time in that first period. Yes. Yeah, yes, this was on a shot that Colton Rayon, he certainly should have had it. That puck traveled all over his net, and yep, as a result, he just could not stop it. And as a result, Nepean has that lead of 1-0. Right, so now that we got the first period highlights out of the way, we do have the Raiders goals of the week, and mind you, some of them are pretty good. Let's roll the Raiders goals of the week, if you would please.
2 for 3 now in the game. Benoit now in the offensive zone, takes the puck away, finds Larkin, his shot, scores! Nicholas Larkin's 5th of the season is a fortuitous one, bouncing off the leg of Gus Rabe and into the back of the net.
LeBlanc with it up top. His shot scores! Lucas LeBlanc with his 3rd goal in his last 2 games. Right there with a perfect seeing eye shot from the blue line. It's a power play goal.
We've both gone through this program, Paul.
We have.
Oh, off the point. Hey, he was screened. Good shot on the point, number 11. Julian Kemp, I believe, getting the goal. Puck had eyes.
Puck had eyes, somehow squeezed through.
And that one gets turned away by Will Ross. Grabs this one to Knoble. Shoots, and he scores! Raphael Tellier off the one-timer, and the Nepean Raiders take the lead on the power play. As the Raiders could not complete that pass, English over to Tellier. Tellier shoots, scores! Second goal of the game for Raphael Tellier. And it is 2-0 Nepean Raiders. Okay, Shay say Raphael Tellier 2 and the Carleton Place Canadians 0. Wow!
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Josh Rackless, and my favorite accent is Scottish, so I'm excited to invite you to celebrate Scottish heritage at the St. Andrew's Day flag-raising ceremony and reception on November 30th at Ottawa City Hall. It begins at 11 a.m. where the Scottish flag will be raised in honor of Scotland's National Day. The festivities will be accompanied by traditional music, probably some bagpipes, I don't know, and community pride. Following the civic event, guests are invited to a reception at Deacon Brody's from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m., hosted by the Scottish Society of Ottawa. So put on your kilt and bring your own haggis. Maybe not, I just made that part up, but it's probably true. Enjoy lively conversation and the warmth of Scottish hospitality as Ottawa marks the annual celebration of friendship and tradition. Visit otscot.ca. It's like a poem by Robbie Burns for details. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events and post your event. That's it, laddies and lassies.
So with the players all ready to return to the ice for the start of the second period, I would just like to say welcome back everyone for the this Sunday matinee game that features the Nepean Raiders and the Cornwall Colts. Right, so the Nepean Raiders, they got out to a great start, scoring 57 seconds into this opening period, and of course Nepean had that goal by Nick Larkin. It's his 6th tally of the season, assisted from Ryan English and Carter Williamson. Yes, Williamson is now the sole leader in for the Raiders in points scored with 23. That's always great to know what we got for the Raiders. Oh, and Noah Bat just missed that pass. Drops this one to can't see Novosad. Novosad drops this one to Heather McDonald. Over to Spencer Thompson. And Kentrell. This one goes over to LeBlanc. To Thompson. Thompson. Can we have an early goal again? Not quite. Bath shoots. That one is blocked. LeBlanc. Did not miss by much. Spencer Thompson, he's being held in by AJ Adriano. That shot gets blocked. So we were still in the early stages of this second period. This one goes over to Atidrano. Atidrano gets knocked down by Cantrell for the Raiders. This one to Lyndon Lamb now. Lyndon Lamb misses the net. Walker shoots. That one is stopped by Brandt. That one did not miss by very much. Spencer Thompson for the Raiders. He's being watched by Lyndon Lamb. Thompson to LeBlanc. LeBlanc wait. And that one goes over to Adam Walker. Oh, I forgot to mention my healthy scratches that Timothy Walker is also a healthy scratch for the Colts. This one. It's still at the blue line. Wyatt Warner for the Cornwall Colts and shoots. That one is stopped by Katste Brandt. Right, so he hangs on with 17:46 remaining in this second period. Right, so there will be a face-off in Osira Katste Brandt's left. As the Raiders will win the draw. Larkin to Benoit. Yep, that was the only penalty. Yeah, so the Caleb Gauthier penalty, I forgot to mention, was the only penalty of the game, of the first period, that is. Liam Wallace, ups this over to Benoit. Benoit will take some time to Yates. Dumps this one into the boards. It's over to Larkin. This one. Drops this one to Yates. To Benoit. To Wallace again for the Raiders. He's being watched by Timothy Walker. Yep, never mind. He's out there for the Colts. Benoit again for the Raiders. That's the captain. To Yates. Yates and Chancey Novosad made him miss that pass, that is. Walker drops this one to Ryan Racine now for the Cornwall Colts. Visco drops this one to McKee with the shot, and that is stopped by Rayom. And Rayom is 2-0 lifetime against the Nepean Raiders. This one, St. Onge, Visco. Okay, Nepean still has a lead to enjoy, 1-0, although they're being outshot 2-1 in this second period. Goes over to Ryan Racine. Oh, we have ourselves a fight going on. Okay, it is Fraser McDonald, and see who that is for the Raiders. But as both their teams will tap their sticks to make some noise, it was Mac McKee for the Raiders. Okay. Right, so Fraser McDonald will get the crowd all pumped up, but you know there's a rule in the CCHL. When you fight, you're out of the game. Well, like I said, so the combatants that were involved in the festivities, well, they're out of the game. They can watch the remainder of the game, but they cannot play on the ice in the game. Yes, I wonder how that started, you know? Holy mackerel. All right, so this play started when Fraser McDonald he wanted a piece of Mac McKee, and then he said, okay, you want to go? Let's drop the mitts on each other, man. Let's do it. Wow. Right, so as the referees will, yes, they got the penalties all sorted. So Mac McKee and Fraser McDonald they'll each have 5-minute majors as well as game misconducts, because that's what happens when you fight in the CCHL. Yep. There will be a face-off in front of the Cornwall bench. Right, so that is the public address announcer. Yep. Right, so Cantrell now for the Raiders. Drops this back to Ryan English. And Grant wanted to catch that one, but he did not. As this one goes over to make that Cale Grant, and that one is stopped by Grant. Right, so shots on net are 12-8 for the Raiders. How about that save made by Luke Beliveau? By the way, Beliveau tried to fire up in the glove side, and Cotstate Grant will make the save on that one. And this one goes over to LeBlanc now for the Raiders. Grant to Liam Wallace as he's being watched by Luke Beliveau. LeBlanc now for the Raiders. Drops this back to Tellier. And he failed to even get a shot on net. So the years from now for these Raiders and Colts, Wallace, as icing has been waved off as Leon touched it. Bath to Tellier, as Tellier is being watched by Luke Beliveau. Goes over to Noah Bath. Over to Caleb. Make that Brandon Rockwell. Right. Okay. Right, so that's an offside at the blue line. Right. Okay. So we got some rough stuff on that replay as Noah Bath, he tried to take down Jack Kent. Yes, thankfully that didn't escalate to another fight. Okay, so the Raiders have a penalty, too many men on the ice, and as a result, the Cornwall Colts will go on the power play, which is ranked 5th in the CCHL standings. The Raiders are hoping to kill off that penalty, which they could use some help for. They could use some help as their penalty kill ranks 10th. Hopefully that will just be enough to give them a boost in that department. As Timothy Walker's shot gets blocked by Tellier. Drops this back over to Lyndon Lamb. Timothy Walker now for the Colts. Caleb Gauthier goes over to Lamb. Shot, save made, and Timothy Walker, I don't know how he misses that one, as does Adam Walker. Yes, so talk about the Raiders wanting to improve on their penalty killing. They're doing that. Shoots, and Liam Wallace, he'll clear that one as the Raiders will have some fresh legs. I think maybe with the signing of Liam Wallace, that could help the Raiders boost their penalty kill percentage. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Owen Kinghan as he's being watched by Wyatt Warner. Okay, as Bayonne drops this one to William Cotton for the Colts. Cotton waits. And he's being watched by Daniel Viscu. Waits, shoots, stopped by Otsera, Caste-Brand, rebound. Where is it? Right, it's scored free by Daniel Viscu. And with 10 seconds left to go on the too many men on the ice call with Luca Benoit serving that minor, the Nepean Raiders penalty killing comes up clutch. And they really needed that moving forward. Yes. That one goes offside. Yes, how about these great chances by the Colts earlier on that power play? I do not know how Timothy Walker misses that one, as does Adam Walker. Wow. Just would have been that would have been a great chance for the Cornwall Colts to tie the game, but no, sir. Yep. Cantrell as he grabs this one. And that one is icing. Right? Well, you know, the Raiders had a chance to outshoot. They outshot the Cornwall Colts in that first period. I guess it's Cornwall's turn to outshoot the Raiders in that second period. Only time will tell. As the Colts will win the draw. Cotton goes over to Lozon. Back to Lamb. Lamb. Shot. That one did not miss by much. Goes over to Knoble. To Yates now for the Raiders. Yates. As he'll clear this one into Cornwall territory. 11:32 left to go the second period. It is 1-0 Raiders as we speak. That goal came way back in that first period, so no early goals, unlike what happened in the first. As this one goes over to Racine now for the Colts. As this one drops this back to Houston Johnson. Back to Wilson Dowse. Offside, delayed offside. Colts are forced to get back. And indeed they did. As the Raiders wait. Grabs this one to Ryan English. Back over to Smith. Williamson with the shot. That one gets fanned on. Wallace. Shoot. Drops this one to Williamson. That one gets blocked by Chancey Novosad. Williamson for the Raiders. Williamson, as he's being watched by Vida for the Cornwall Colts. Smith. Dropped to... And not that it matters much. 10:05 left to go in this second period. Raiders have a 1-0 lead still. English drops this back to Carter Williamson. As Vida gets hammered in by Ryan English. Wallace will want to get a shot and does. That one is stopped by Bayonne. And he hangs on with 9:43 left to go in this second period. It is the Raiders' first shot on net since the earlier part of the second period. How about that glove save by Rayon? He made off of Liam Wallace. Right, and the Colts will win the draw. What's next? And what's next? Beliveau. On a move, Beliveau and a big save made by Caste-Brand. Beliveau trying to go toe-to-toe to tic-tac-toe to Brandon Rockwell, and Brandt makes a big save for Nepean. Wallace. And this one goes over to LeBlanc. Over to Tellier now for the Nepean Raiders. 9:07 left to go in the second period. Raiders still have a lead to enjoy. 1-0. Rockwell shoots, and Brandt may have gotten a piece of that one. Bertrand now for the Nepean Raiders. Bertrand waits. He'll make a couple moves as the Raiders will go ahead and get some fresh legs on the ice. He wasn't ready for that pass. That was Alejandrino for the Cornwall Colts. Offside has been waved off. Owen Kinghan now for the Raiders. Drops this one over to... That is William Cotton for the Colts. Shoots. That one is stopped by Brandt on Wyatt Warner. And the rebound, they all go whacking at it, and Brandt hangs on. Yes, how about that save that Brandt made off of Wyatt Warner? Yeah, he'll use his pads and make sure that the Colts don't tie the game. Yep, Cat State Brandt has been great in this second period, like he was in that first period. Right. Drops this one back to Yates. Colby Lozon, he's being watched by Knoble. This is a great chance for Nepean with the shot on. That one is stopped by Rayon. Well, Luca Benoit, he tried to go to that 5-hole, but no, sir. That was a great play that was broken up by Knoble. Novosad turned it over, and Rayon just about made that save off of Luca Benoit. Knoble will win the face-off. Cantrell with the shot. That one is blocked. This one over to Lamb. Missing that pass was Alex Brown. Shoots. That one is gloved down by Brandt. And he'll hang on with 7:33 left to go in this second period. Nepean has a lead to enjoy despite Cornwall out-shooting the Raiders in that second period. Yep, Cat State Brandt has stopped all 15 shots. He has been marvelous. Larkin over to Wallace. And we have a bit of a high stick stoppage. Right, so the Cornwall Colts have outshot the Raiders. There's 10-3 in that second period alone. That was touching up on what I was going to say. Okay, Wilson Douse now for the Colts. Adam Walker shoots, and that one is stopped by Brandt. Rebound, they all go whacking at it. Where's the puck? Okay, and that one scores to safety. And Brandt losing his stick in the process. Let's see if that generates a scoring chance. No, sir! As Cat State Brandt is able to make that save. Whoa. That was a good chance by Cornwall to get back in the game, especially when Cat State Brandt lost his stick, but he was able to close the door on that one. That's just some fantastic highlight reel save after save performance from Cat State Brandt. .6:45 left to go in the second period. I guess the Cornwall Colts must be getting very frustrated offensively in this game, you know? That one is still in Cornwall territory. He drops this back to Owen Kingan. As that one goes over to Tellier. Tellier! What a move! Oh, Noah Bath somehow misses the net. Man, normally you'd score on these. St. Olge with the shot, and that one did not miss by much. Yeesh. Wow. So, Alejandro for the Colts. As this one goes over to Lucas LeBlanc. This is a good chance for Luke Beliveau. 3-on-2. Shoots. Save is made by Katste Brandt. Right, so 5:25 left to go in that second period. Raiders still have a lead to enjoy. That came late in the first period. Missing that pass is Gauthier. A race for it, and Gauthier beats Knoble to the punch. Walker shoots, and that one is stopped by Katste Brandt. But whoa, we got some pushing and shoving in behind the net, and it's Mason St. Onge and Caleb Gauthier. But how about that earlier chance by Noah Bath? Wow. That just would have been 2-0. Wow. I guess that the Nepean Raiders are just, holy smokes. They're just pouring on the pressure again. Yeah, but St. Onge and Caleb Gauthier are each gonna get roughing minors. This is the second time that Caleb Gauthier has to serve time in the box, though he'll be sharing it with Mason St. Onge, the former Cornwall Colts. Yes, here's that replay and how that transpired. Yes, that would have been good enough to help get the Raiders on the power play again. Thompson, and he drops this back to Cantrell, to Bath, or make that Tyler Smith, and Smith misses the net. Williamson over to Spencer Thompson. Williamson, Cantrell, Williamson shoots, and that one goes out of play. Whoa. Man, the first two periods were some highlight reel exciting plays for the Raiders. And we don't know how that's going to be retraced. So the face-off will be done properly. Spencer Thompson. That's him spinning. Thompson. And he's being watched by William Cotton. Thompson, and there is going to be a delay penalty call to the Cornwall Colts. Cantrell. As the Colts touch up, it's going to be a hooking minor. So that's going to eliminate the 4-on-4, and it'll just be 4-on-3. It's going to be a 4-on-3 power play for the Nepean Raiders. So they'll have another chance to operate. So the draw. Yates will take the draw against Adam Walker, and Yates will win the face-off. As this one goes over to Katste Brandt to Larkin. That's right. Let's make some noise for the Raiders. Power play. Yates to Larkin. Back to Williamson. Williamson to Larkin. Williamson shoots. That one missed the net. Larkin again. Williamson to Larkin. Shoots. That one, juicy rebound, and the Raiders weren't ready for that. Williamson to Benoit. Williamson shoots. And that one misses the net, goes out of play, but man, I'm pretty sure that Williamson and Benoit would each like to have another crack at it, as Larkin was practicing that one-timer. Just 29 seconds left to go, and the Raiders will get to work on that sole 5-on-4 power play, as this one gets cleared into Nepean territory by Wyatt Warner. Larkin, let's see what he does here. Larkin is being watched by Wyatt Warner. That will just about do it for the 4-on-4s to Caleb Gauthier and Mason St. Ange. So the Raiders will have 48 seconds left to go on their power play. Yates stops up to Benoit. Larkin with the shot, and that one is turned away by Rayom in front. Benoit stops and looks for a play. Tellier shoots. That one is stopped by Rayom. This one to LeBlanc. Benoit. Tellier. Benoit! Now the pass. Larkin with the shot. That one missed at the net, and I think Rayom got a piece of that one. LeBlanc to Larkin with the shot. That one deflected just wide. Right, so the Raiders are 0 for 2 on the man advantage as the penalty to the Colts expires. Wow, some very great highlight reel chances for the Raiders on that power play, but nothing to show for. 1:55 left to go in that second period. It is 1-0 Raiders, and that one just trickles into the net. And that one, it is Luke Beliveau getting the goal. It's his 8th goal of the season for the Cornwall Colts. Yes, and he's showing to continue to be a reason why he's a leading goal scorer for the Colts. This all started with that passing play by AJ Altarantino, and Luke Beliveau, with his 8th of the year, was able to finish that one off. As a result, we have a 1-1 game. But like I said, the Raiders may have failed the test, but they passed some others. Viscu with the shot, and that one is stopped by Leon in front. Viscu. And with 1:25 left to go in that second period, it's 1-1. This one drops over to Antonio, to Rockwell. Grabs this back to Kent. Kent's shot is blocked by LeBlanc. So 1:05 left to go in that second period. Viscu. And last minute of play in the second period, dernière minute de la période de deux. And this one, we all thought that the Raiders were going to have a wonderful chance, but not that it matters, as a offside has been waved off. Drops this back to Colby Lozone. Big open ice hit by Spencer Thompson. Shoots. That one is stopped by Brand, and the rebound. Where's the puck? That one scores free, and that one whistles over the top of the net. That just would have been 2-1 Cornwall. I can't believe my own eyes. I'm pretty sure the Cornwall Colts would like to have another chance at it. All right, so we'll get the face-off all set up. Over to Tellier. That one just goes all the way to Cornwall territory, and that's icing. 15.6 seconds left to go in this second period. So yeah, and the Raiders are catching up in the shot department. Face off to Brant's right. And this one, losing his stick was Noah Bath. See if that creates any scoring chances for the Colts. Save made Brant. No, sir! As time will run out. Wow. Just like that first period, it was a scrappy second period. Right, so Cat State Brant may have allowed a goal, but he has been marvelous in this game for the Raiders as he stopped 20 of the 21 shots he's faced overall in the game. Right, and Colton Rayon, he's equally been great as well for the Cornwall Colts. Right. Right, so the Colts have outshot the Nepean Raiders 16-8. And yet Brant, he kept the Nepean Raiders in this close game. Right, so let's take a look at what just transpired in that second period. All right, so Fraser McDonald and Mac McKee, they served their 5-minute natures for fighting, and they each got 10-minute misconducts, and the only penalty was for the Raiders was Luca Benoit, and Cotton got the penalty for hooking. Okay, so Brandon Rockwell, he got hit. Okay, so I was right. Luke Beliveau with his 8th goal of the season. That one was assisted by Brandon Rockwell, assisted from Derek Rhodes. Okay, it was the only goal of the second period for the Cornwall Colts. Okay, so the only goal of this game for the Nepean Raiders came from Nick Larkin. That goal came way back in that first period. It's his 6th tally of the year. This is from English and Carter Williamson. Okay, so how that play transpired was great passing play by Brandon Rockwell, and Luke Beliveau was able to finish that job. Okay, so out-of-town scoreboards. The Carlton, one of the game going on right now. The last place Carlton plays Canadians. They have a 2-1 lead against the first place Campbell 73s. Oh yes, let's get back to that in a second. Yes, there's some great chances by the Cornwall Colts, and including the one where Brant lost his stick. And not only that, but we also had some highlight reel end-to-end plays on the power play. But in the end, here's that goal that did for them. It is Luke Beliveau with his 8th tally of the year. Like I said, that's assists from Rockwell and Derek Rhodes. And one game happening later on today, the Pembroke Lumber Kings will play host to the Smiths Falls Bears. That is a 7 p.m. puck drop. It is 1-1 for the Raiders and the Cornwall Colts, respectively. That's exactly where it is we sit as of right now. Okay, so, and not only that, but the shots on net are 21-19 in favor of the Cornwall Colts, but Cat State Brant has really kept the Nepean Raiders in this game, and you never know, he may be one of the 3 stars in this game. Okay, so all that being said, we'll take a brief little pause, and when we come back on, we'll have the call for our third period. And I'm Ramon DeFranco. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to Kootenai News and Events on Rogers TV, Channel 22. I'm Ramon DeFranco. Women's hockey has never been more popular than it is today, and you can cheer on local talents by attending Nepean Wildcats hockey games. The Wildcats are known for their fast-paced action and strong team spirit. They bring exciting youth and competitive women's hockey to rinks across Ottawa. Fans can catch these thrilling matchups at the Nepean Sportsplex and the Minto Recreation Complex. These young athletes showcase their skill and dedication to the game. Supporting the Wildcats means helping grow grassroots hockey and empowering the next generation of players. Visit wildcats.ca for the full schedule. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it. All right, and we would like to welcome back everybody to the Nepean Sportsplex Steve Yzerman Arena for the call of this third period. Right, so my name is Romano DeFranco, and I'm so happy that you all came along for the ride. Right, so it is 1-1 for the Nepean Raiders and the Cornwall Colts. Kat Brand and Colton Leome have been nice and tidy for either side. That's what I was going to say. Right, so Brand has made big saves for the Raiders, including the one where he lost his stick, but he thankfully though manages to recover. Right? Oh, brother. Face off to start this third period. And the Colts win that opening face-off for the third period. Right? So Noah back, shoots! Oh, that one just whistled wide of the net. I'm pretty sure he meant well. This one goes over to Noah back now for the Raiders. Yeah, so this one goes over to Larkin. And LeBlanc gets hammered into the ice by Luc Beliveau, who got the most recent goal. As pointed out to a very special guest, Williamson to Tellier, stopped by Graham. Well, sure would like to have another crack at that. This brings us to what happened in that second period all over again. That one is in behind the net. Williamson to Thompson. Thompson shoots! Spencer Thompson fires one from the point. It's his 8th goal of the season, and it continues to lead all defensemen in the CCHL in that department. Right, how about that? That starts with that great pass by Williamson, and Spencer Thompson was able to finish the job for you. Right, and as a result, it's his 8th of the season. And this one goes over to Smith. And Rayom hangs on. 18:35 left to go in the third period. Raiders have a comfortable 2-1 lead. All right, so face-off won by the Colts. Thompson again. See what he does here. That one deflected it just wide. Man, had trouble written all over from getting at least an assist on that deflection. Normally, you'd score on these. Brown. Alex Brown for the Colts. Missing that pass was Lyndon Lamb. And this one goes over to Caleb Gauthier. Gauthier, that one goes over back to Alex Brown. Rowan Cantrell. And this one goes over to Caleb Gauthier. And this one goes over to Alex Brown. Brown with the shot, and that one is stopped by Katste Brandt, who has been amazing for the Nepean Raiders. Knoble. As Yates will miss that pass. Wilson Douse now for the Cornwall Colts. Right, so St. Onge drops this back to Owen Kingan. Knoble drops this one to Luca Benoit. That one stopped by Jack Kent. Rebound, and that one whistled wide of the net. Doing that was Nick Larkin. As this one goes over to, he gets hammered by Timothy Walker. Should I say drilled? But a chance for Knoble. That one hit his skates. As this one goes over to Ryan Racine for the Cornwall Colts. 1-on-2. Okay. That one is foiled by the Raiders defense and Nick Larkin. Larkin with the shot on. That one whistled wide of the net. Okay. So 16-28. Right, so how about that earlier chance by Knoble? Man, he had a great chance to put this game away for the Nepean Raiders, but no sir. He just missed the net completely. So if it does stand out, Spencer Thompson's goal will be the game-winning goal. Had Knoble scored that goal, it would be insurance for the Raiders. Delayed offside for the Cornwall Colts, and that one is at safety. Turnover! What a move! Save me, Colton Rayom! Oh my goodness! I don't believe it! Knoble, losing his glove, was Anthony Bertrand. Are they going to stop play for that, or you just never know? Liam Wallace now for the Raiders. And this one goes over to Williamson, who assisted on the Thompson goal. Turnover! Goes over to Johnson with the shot. That one is stopped by Katstay Brandt. Wow. So yep, just like in the first two periods, the third period has been tightly contested. Well, normally you'd score on the deflection, but Rayon just closed the door on Daniel Viscu. But, man, nonetheless, Rayon keeps this as a 2-1 game for the Raiders. Shoots, stopped by Brandt. Goes over to Noah Bath. Bath, as he gets tripped up. And they wanted a penalty, no call on this one. 15-16 left to go in that third period. Nepean has a 2-1 lead on the strength of Spencer Thompson's, his 8th goal of the year. Rockwell for the Colts. Drops this back to Aldenio. And that one is stopped by Brandt. 14:54 left to go in the third period. Raiders still have a lead to enjoy. Wow. And like I said before, just like the first two periods, you know, the third period has been pretty scrappy up to this point. You know? As Cornwall will win the face-off. This one goes over to Noah Bath. And this one goes over to Kent as the Raiders will complete their line change. Adam Walker for the Colts. Walker waits to Brown. Lamb with the shot, and that one is stopped by Katstay Brandt. It's 2-1 Nepean still. As Adam Walker will take the face-off against Ryan English, and English will win the face-off. Nepean is looking to win their first game since the end of October at home ice against the Carleton Place Canadians. Williamson over to Saint-Onge, the former Cornwall Colts. He was acquired by the team last November. Goes over to Castaic Brand. Dangerous pass, but he'll be okay. Smith to Owen Kingham. As the Raiders will be forced to get back again. This one goes over to Caleb Gauthier for the Colts. English for the Raiders as he's chasing after Wyatt Warner. As this one goes over to Nick Larkin. As offside has been waved off. 13-11 left to go in this third period. Raiders still have a lead to enjoy, 2-1. Knoble, what a move! Knoble, stopped by Colton Rayome! Well, that once again just would have put this game away for the Raiders. Wallace shoots that one, it just hit the goal post. 2 quality chances for Knoble. Benoit's shot is stopped by Rayome, and there is going to be a penalty on the play. And that's an interference. Okay, so, and Nick Larkin, he's arguing about the call with Garrett Hyberson. Yes, but nonetheless, the Cornwall Colts will go on the power play again. Right, so the Raiders PK will get back to work. They killed off 1. Right, and the Raiders will win the face-off. The only penalty that the Raiders killed, that was way back in that second period. Okay, this one goes over to Cotton for the Colts. Altereno for the Colts. Altadrino for the Colts as he's being watched by Smith. He's forced to reset. Altadrino as he'll put this in the Raiders' territory to see if they can get anything set up. As Tellier will clear this one to the Raiders, or to the Cornwall Colts territory as part of their penalty kill. As Cornwall waits in. This one goes over to Timothy Walker. Saint-Onge now. Goes over to Noah Bath. Gauthier waits. Over to Alex Brown with the shot, and he scores! Alex Brown. Fired at Walker's side off of Castaic Brand. And Alex Brown will help the Cornwall Colts tie the game at 2. Yes, how about that shot? Walker's side by Alex Brown. And that one's on the power play. Yep. No chance whatsoever by Castaic Brand. Yep. So the Raiders PK doesn't quite work. And we'll see if they can engineer the lead once more. Only time will tell. As that one remains, this one goes over to Noah Bath. That one is stopped by Rayome with his pads. LeBlanc to Thompson. Thompson, yes, forced to get back. This is Noah Bath. The Raiders have acquired Noah Bath in a trade in the offseason with the Hawkesbury Hawks. Thompson shoots. That one is stopped. As that one still in play. As a race for it, and Thompson wanted a slashing call, but he doesn't get one as he feels some sort of discomfort. Yep. Yes, Nepean wanted a slashing call, didn't get one. As this one goes over to Jovita, he's being watched by Larkin. Yates. Back over to Wallace. Wallace slowly waits up to Yates. Yates to Larkin. Shoots. That one is stopped by Colton Leon. Wallace. Knoble goes over to Yates again. That one remains in Cornwall territory with 9:38 left to go in this third period. Alex Brown has scored on the power play to tie the game at 2. Goes over to Benoit. Can't see Novosad. Grant. Goes over to English. As that one remains in Nepean territory to Larkin. Goes over to Smith. Goes over top of the net. Nepean has outshot Cornwall 28-27 in the game itself. Offside has been delayed and waved off. Owen Kinghan drops this to English. English as that one has offside waved off. Right, so offside, icing waved off. Kinghan for the Raiders. As this one goes over to Lausanne. And the Raiders cannot afford to give up another goal here. Warner shoots. That one did not miss by very much. Kent. That one missed the net too. As the puck battle continues up along the boards. Timothy Walker shoots. Pad save made by Brandt. Scrappy game at both ends on the rink. St. Onge. You just never know what could happen, don't you think? As this one goes over to Timothy Walker. Back to Lausanne with the shot. That one missed the net. Lausanne again. As he's being watched by Kinghan. Over to Cotton. Cotton's shot is blocked by Noah Bath. Here comes Noah Bath. See what he does! What a save made by Colton Rayon! Just as when you think that the Raiders have scored again. Rayon with a fantastic save. Let's take a look at that. Noah Bath. He tried to bank one in off of Rayon, but Rayon lurched out and just made the save. There'll be a face-off to Rayon's left. So this one goes over to Noah Thompson. Make that Lyndon Lamb with the shot. Stick save made by Kat-Stay Brandt. That just would have been game over. Cantrell. Over to Tellier. Drops this back to Lyndon Lamb. Lamb missing that pass was Alex Brown. See if the Raiders could capitalize on that here. Thompson shoots. Save made. Colton Rayon. Okay. The war is on. Tellier. As offside has been waved off, as the Raiders will get some fresh legs out now. This one goes over to Luke Bellevaux. Bellevaux has one of two Colts goals. As this one goes over to Larkin. Larkin to Knoble. And that one will still remain in Cornwall territory. Knoble waits. Goes over to Rockwell for the Cornwall Colts. Rockwell. This one. Lyndon Lamb shoots. Stopped by Kutste Brandt. Yates. Oh, I think we got some... I think Larkin wants to go at it with Brandon Rockwell, but Rockwell, he may fight another time. Not now. Larkin. Larkin will slowly makes his way in. Offside waved off. Larkin, what a move! Benoit shoots! Scores! Luca Benoit fires that one in behind Colton Rayome. It's his 12th of the campaign, and the Raiders, for the third time in the game, take the lead. Yes, no chance whatsoever for Luca Benoit. Make that Colton Rayome, my bad. Yeah, Rayome's glad that puck didn't hit him. 14:44 is the time of the goal. Right? And Nick Larkin with his second point of this game. Yep. And the Raiders are, let's hope, do they try to add more, or do they just sit and try to protect this? Only time will tell. This one goes over to Kinghan. To Williamson. Goes over to Douse. High pass was Warner. English. As that all goes up and out of play. 4:48 left to go in this third period. Benoit with his 12th of the season. His 12th of the season makes it 3-2 Nepean Raiders. As the Colts will win the draw. Yep. So Lyndon Lamb now for the Colts. As this one goes over to Spencer Thompson. As the puck battle continues in Nepean territory. Larkin to Benoit. What a race to the finish this is going to be. Thompson, as he's being watched by Jancy Novosad. Yates goes over to Benoit again. To Alex Brown, who's got the most recent goal for the Cornwall Colts. 14:44 was the time of the Luca Benoit goal, and there is going to be a penalty call coming up to the Raiders. And that's going to be boarding. And it's Tristan Knoble. He's got to be like, what was he thinking? Now it may be more than 2 minutes. But we'll have to wait and see what will become of that. Okay, just 2 minutes. Yeah, boarding. Yes, Tristan Knoble will get the gate for boarding. It's just a 2 minute penalty, thankfully. Thankfully that did not cost him more. He would have gotten the game misconduct. And the Raiders PK will try again, having allowed a power play goal the last time around. Timothy Walker for the Colts. As the puck battle continues. And we all want to know where is it. As this one goes over to Timothy Walker. Rockwell as this one gets cleared into Nepean territory. All right. So 1:20 left to go into the penalty to Knoebel. And Colton Rayom, he may be waiting for a signal by their head coach and Grant Cooper on whether he wants to go to the bench for an extra attacker. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Gauthier, as that offside has been waved off. Okay. Right, so 48 seconds left to go to the penalty to Knoebel. Kinghan, and he'll clear this one into Cornwall territory. And Nepean's penalty killers is doing a great job this time around. And that should give their penalty killing a bit of a boost. Walker, as he'll drops this back to Gauthier. Gauthier waits, see what he does. He's being watched by Raph Tellier. Shoots, save was made by Otsara Katsday-Brand. Yet Rayom's at the bench for an extra attacker for the Colts. That one just missed the net barely. Right, so let's see if the Raiders can put the icing on the cake on this one. Offside has been waved off. As this one goes over to Luke Beliveau. Beliveau, and that one gets cleared into Cornwall territory in the nick of time. And that's icing. Right, so the game is all coming right down to the marbles. Yep. The shots on net are even 32 apiece. 3-2, Raiders lead. Okay. I guess the Cornwall Colts, they have called a timeout. I guess they want to see if they can get back in this game. Yes, that's because it was last year that the Carleton Place Canadians in Carleton Place, they took a timeout only to score the game-tying goal to have that game go into a shootout. Right, so and Paul Flindle is trying to rally his troops and see what he does. And see if they could try to close this game out. So the Colts will win the face-off. We'll see if that timeout works. Shoots, save made by Brandt. And this one goes over to English, and that one just missed the net. Benoit, as he's being watched by William Cotton. Over to Brandon Rockwell. 1:12 left to go in the third period. Raiders are trying to protect their lead. Smith with the shot, and the high pass was Luke Beliveau. Beliveau slowly repositions himself. Goes over to Timothy Walker. The shot, that one is gloved down by Katsday-Brand. 55.9 seconds left to go in the third period. And the game is coming down to the wire. As the Raiders will win the face-off, Liam Wallace, as he's being held in by Lyndon Lamb. Smith, and that one gets blocked by Caleb Gauthier. Caleb Gauthier, oh, what a save made by Caleb Gauthier. Whoa, that freaky sort of developing play. It just would have been game over. Wow, and Caleb Gauthier, he tried to pass to his teammate, but he fumbles back into the net, and that caused the net to be dislodged. Okay, so as a result of that, Rayom is back on in net for the Raiders. He'll wait for a signal from Grant Cooper. Raiders win the face-off. Gauthier, pass, long lead pass, and so Rayom's going back to the bench right now. This one clears into Cornwall territory. Icing waved off. Beliveau, as he goes over to Wyatt Warner. Warner to Brown. Brown misses the net. And 8 seconds left. Can they close it out? Not this time. Not that it matters much. The Nepean Raiders hold on to defeat the Cornwall Colts 3-2. Oh my gosh, what a wild ride to the finish as the Raiders pile off the bench to congratulate Cutstay Brant. Although the Raiders were outshot 34-32, the Raiders still pulled off the upset against the third place in the Iserman division, Cornwall Colts. Okay? As the Raiders will tap their sticks to salute the crowd. And this game is in the books. In the books. Okay, so our 3-star selection for the Raiders. Nick Lart. So the third star of the game for the Raiders with 2 assists in this one. It is Tristan Knoble. Okay. And with 20 saves in this game, Cutstay Brant, make that with 30 saves in the game. Cutstay Brant is the second star for the Raiders. And with a goal and assist, Nick Larkin is the first star of the game for the Nepean Raiders. Right, so that's our story of the game. The Raiders pull off a decisive 3-2 win against the Cornwall Colts. I have no idea where the game has gone by. On behalf of Romano DeFranco, as well as our wonderful crew on InYourSeat.tv, we just wanted to say have a great and safe rest of your weekend, and we would like to see you all next time.